Staying in shape with a newborn at home is not easy, and I'm not here to tell you that I have a cheat code or I have something that's just gonna fix everything and make it very easy. I wish I was here to tell you that. I'm sorry I'm not. But I have been through the newborn trenches. My son is almost 2 now, and although we're out of the newborn trenches, sometimes training is still tricky to balance family time, quality time, and a social life, and training and being there for your family. It's all hard. It's not easy, but I do know what it's like. So I'm here just to kind of share my experience and tips that I have done in order to stay on top of my training while my son has been growing up. The reason this idea sparked in my brain is because of Dan John. If you're not familiar with him, go check out his content on fitness and just functionality and practical advice about not only fitness, but life as well. He has some very great content, but on one of his latest episodes, he talked about this whole idea of how to stay on top of training and staying fit while you're in newborn trenches, and even while your kid goes from newborn to toddler.
This isn't advice for everybody. This is advice for parents with newborns, is that you might want to move away from ballistic lifts for a while. In the kettlebell world, especially the swing and the snatch. And I say that, and maybe even like get up, the more fancy exercises like get up. And the reason I'm telling you is the stresses of a baby, the impact is going to have on your sleep schedule, your sleep hygiene, and little things, that constant little, especially the firstborn, and I don't want to break it, but if you can focus more on the press and the squat, the grinding lifts, I think you'll be better served. Not that there's anything wrong with ballistics. I did not say that. I'm just saying when you're first dealing with a newborn. So my basic advice is do what you can. When in doubt, do the grinds, press and squat. When in doubt, hop on the bike indoors and do what you can. And if you can get those nighttime stroller walks in, I think everybody's gonna be really happy.
So that idea sparked from him. So thank you very much, Dan, for sparking this idea. So these are some things that, going based off of what Dan talked about, these are things that I've done and implemented into my life to stay on top of training. So let's get into it. So the first tip that I have, and what really helped me, and I am sort of lucky because I had a lot of this equipment before I had my son, but is to train at home. Avoid commercial gyms. Commercial gyms are great. They can be used for really great things. They have a lot of machines that I clearly do not have at home, but for this sake, train at home. Going to a commercial gym with a newborn at home is way too much time, in my opinion, because you have to get ready, you gotta pack your bag, you gotta get your pre-workout, whatever it is, you gotta drive there, you might have to change there, you gotta work out, you gotta change, you gotta come home, you gotta shower. I mean, it could literally take hours, opposed to if you're working out at home with very simple equipment, then it could take you 30 minutes to work out, and then boom, all I gotta do is go upstairs and I'm with my family again. So it really is a good way to just kind of like minimize the time away from your family while also like being with them in a way, because I train down here, I go upstairs after 30 minutes and I'm good to go. Or sometimes my son and my wife come down here while I'm training and I can kind of hang out with them while I'm working out. And training at home, this kind of goes hand in hand with it, is that you can train with your child when they're a newborn. It might not be lifting heavy weights and it might not be intense, crazy cardio, but you can still get a good athletic workout in with your newborn. Meaning, and Dan talked about this, but pushing a newborn or a toddler in a stroller for a long amount of time is great exercise. Simple walking, you're pushing a little bit of weight. I also made it a point too, where if we were going on a hike for a long time and I knew we were gonna be going on a hike for a while, I would carry my son as long as he would. I mean, he liked to go to his mom a lot because he's a mama's boy, but as long as he would let me carry him, I would carry him. It was a good back workout. It was a nice upper body workout. You're carrying that weight on you. It's almost like wearing a weighted vest, So this really worked well for us because you're with your family, but you're also getting a workout in. So it's a win-win. You can't go wrong. The second tip I have for you is to simplify your training. And Dan talked about this in his video a little bit, but it's to basically avoid ballistic movements, right? So when my son was a newborn, he sucked at sleeping. He never slept through the night. He was up 2 to 3 times a night. He'd wake up crying, wanting to eat, whatever it was. Happens to most parents. It's a pretty normal thing. But because of that, my wife and I were both so sleep deprived. And I still tried my hardest Monday through Friday to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and work out. But again, because we were sleep deprived, my training started to slack a little bit because of that, specifically ballistic movements. So again, to Dan's point, simplify your training. Do rows, do presses, do squats, do things that aren't going to be too much on your body because you might be sleep deprived. And if you're doing a workout, you have to make sure that your form is correct. You want to make sure that the functionality of it is solid. And if your sleep isn't solid and your workouts are starting to slack from it, it's going to cost you. And this might not be right for everybody, but it was right for me. I sprinkled in some dumbbells. I have adjustable ones right there, and then I have some 45-35 free weight stuff. So I sprinkled in some dumbbells along with my kettlebells and my functional type of training, sandbags, my steel mace, things like that. So dumbbells, in my opinion, are a lot easier to do as far as, you know, like when you're sleep deprived and stuff. Kettlebells are a different story. So I just felt like I could get a lot out of dumbbells. It might not be right for everybody, but it was right for me just to kind of get my body going and still train my, you know, certain muscle groups. Simplicity is better when your child is a newborn. So keep it simple, stupid. So another way that you can prioritize training is just to see what fits your schedule. Right now, I'm on my way back from jiu-jitsu. I went at 5:30 in the morning, and I know that's early, but the trade-off with that is that throughout the week, I get him so my wife can sleep in. So Thursday is the one day that I get up and I get to go train. So that's kind of the trade-off right there. Hey, talking to my wife, you can sleep in these days, and I'm gonna get up Thursday and go to jiu-jitsu. When my son was a newborn, I would wake up in the morning and I would train every day just because I prefer training in the mornings. But now that he's a little bit older, I wake up with him in the morning. I let my wife sleep in if she doesn't have to work that day, and I train at night now. So after bath time and all that, before his bed, I train, whereas before I used to train in the morning. So my point being here is just that be fluid with your schedule, talk to your partner, find out what works for you, find out what works for them. And another thing about this is it's hard to do, to balance all this stuff, a job, quality time with your family, training, a social life. But the two most important things to me and what's helped me set up a constant good schedule is prioritizing two things. One of them being my wife and my son and quality time with them. And the second thing being training. And when you think about just those two things, everything else kind of comes secondary. And if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not saying give up your friends. I'm not saying give up your social life or anything like that. I'm just saying to make your schedule easier. Hey, I know that every morning and every day after work, I get quality time with my wife and my son. And I know that every night I train. Those are my two priorities. What happens after he goes to bed? We'll find out. We'll see. Just find out what works for you, your family, and your schedule, and run with it. But again, be fluid with it. It might change. You might train at different times each day. And that's just kind of what it is when you have a newborn, you know? Life happens and there's no way around it. I think the important thing is just that you're prioritizing family time and prioritizing training. So basically, if I had to sum this up in one sentence, it would just be that having kids and trying to stay on top of training is not easy, but you do the best with what you got. You're gonna fall off some days. I mean, not every day is gonna be perfect. There's gonna be days where, you know, you might fall off. You might not even be able to train on certain days, or if you do train, you might just feel off. You might be sleep deprived, things like that. But again, if you do train, just try your best. And if you can't train a certain day, give yourself some sort of clarity that your baby is not gonna be a baby forever. So you have to cherish that time while they're little. And I know, trust me, I know from experience that the newborn trenches can be difficult, especially with sleep and everything that we talked about earlier. But you just have to learn to cherish those moments. And every stage of their life is challenging, right? There's always something that comes up. Just make do with what you got, cherish the moments, try to train as much as you can train. But if you can't train, give yourself some clarity that it is okay. And just figure out what works for you and your family. That was the biggest tip that I had, was just talk to your person and just make it happen. Make it work somehow, whether you work out in the morning, at night, once they go to bed, before they're awake, whatever it is, but you can find a little bit of extra time to train. There's a quote, I might butcher it, but it's something like, you've seen your hardest day and survived through it. So meaning you can get through any hard day and survive through it. You know, you just have to find that grit to do it, and just take a breath. So that's all I got. If you're a new dad, congratulations. It's a super fun, challenging, amazing, precious, difficult time, but it is such a magical thing. So anyways, thank you for watching the video, and thank you to Dan John for collaborating with me on this. I appreciate you, Dan. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Much love. See you guys later.